everyone. Assalamu alaikum, and solidarity to you all. I love you all so much. I always have the same sentiment. I wish there were more people out here standing for Palestine, but every single soul who is priceless and beloved to me. Thank you so much for being here. Love you. Imagine you are a parent at a playground and a fight breaks out between your kid and some other child. As the adults step in to intervene, it becomes clear to you that your kid was picking on the other child who was standing up for himself. The way you respond to this situation says a lot about your views on right and wrong. While some parents might take the opportunity to educate their kid on playing nice and how to apologize, others might choose tribal loyalty over morality and shield their kid from the consequences of their actions by picking a fight with the other adults. And some parents might discipline both children, opting to punish aggressor and victim together for inconveniencing the adults rather than investigating what really happened, saying, "I don't care who started it, I'm going to finish it," or "violence is never the answer," which in itself is a violent and privileged philosophy, because pacifism essentially strips the oppressed of their right to resist the injustice to which they are subjected.
That's right.
These terms might seem dramatic for a schoolyard encounter, but in a world where schools are seen as acceptable targets for airstrikes, this example serves to illustrate on a simple level the various schools of thought that people adopt when making sense of violence on the world stage. Occupied Palestine is currently considered the most dangerous place on earth to be a child. What is it like to be a kid and to assume you won't grow up? Or to be a parent and to expect your children to be killed? If we believe in justice, in the right of the oppressed to fight back against their oppressors, then we believe that violence is acceptable in self-defense, and the challenge becomes defining self-defense, including when and how armed resistance can be used and who is allowed to use it. Many Americans say the situation with Israel and Palestine is messy because they are fed a steady diet of propaganda that presents Israelis as, by default, as a privileged class who is entitled to use violence, even against children, to defend land that they stole, while painting Arabs and Muslims as a subhuman group who can't use violence, not even to defend their children, while they are imprisoned on the very land that was stolen from them. I know too many people here in the United States who feel so confused by the genocide because they can't reconcile what they've been told by their leaders with what they're seeing with their own eyes. The Western narrative, constructed in a bubble that's separated from the lived reality of the entire rest of the human race, obscures the clear picture of a well-funded apartheid state, securing power for the Western Empire by stealing land for European settlers through ethnic cleansing of the indigenous Palestinian population. The entire world order since the end of World War II has been built around this mission, with every Middle Eastern tyrant serving their Zionist colonizers obediently to repress the Ummah's consciousness and obscure this ugly truth. The story of Israel and Palestine offers one of the most obvious and exaggerated images of oppressor and oppressed in human history. But too many of our neighbors simply aren't seeing the starvation, the bombardment, the raids, the imprisonment, the torture, or any of the other war crimes the Zionists invent against Palestinian civilians every single day. That's why we're out here, to clarify the picture for anyone who is still confused. And the reason we've all convened at the State House today is to show our colonizers that time won't numb us. As if trying to get us to accept a new normal, they've now been waging their genocide for 1 full year, it's true. But we are also approaching a century of oppression, and I doubt Israel expected to face the consequences of their actions after 75 years in power. Clearly, time won't numb us, but if statistics don't feel real to the people of this country who keep electing war criminals into office, perhaps they'll be moved by personal accounts and graphic images that the news always sees fit to censor. My mom and I sometimes attend these rallies with our friend Jihan Abu Samek. A few weeks ago, her family was martyred by Israeli airstrikes, including a 29-year-old woman and her 4 children, all under the age of 10. Talk to my mom if you want to see their pictures. She's standing right over there. Mazen was only 4. Zina's lifeless face turned gray. Ahmed's leg dangled from his corpse. Abdullah's head detached from his body. Israel turned souls into meat. If people thought they were safe because at least they're not in Palestine, Israel has since proven their will to ruin the entire world for everyone who isn't part of their privileged class of chosen people. And their bloodlust doesn't seem to have boundaries.
Shame!
Shame! In Lebanon, the Zionists have been murdering hundreds in a single day by carpet bombing residential areas at their whim. They've injured thousands. They've disfigured and blinded civilians in their recent terrorist attack with the exploding pagers. And they've displaced over 1 million people who just days ago lived in homes. Recently, on the same single day in late September, Israel bombed Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen, all through the funding from us, the unwilling American taxpayers. Shame! Clearly, the Western world feels entitled to destroy the earth like they own it, and comfortable with hitting civilian targets while policing those same targets for stepping out of line. Their definition of terrorism doesn't include mass violence against civilians when the killers are white and the targets aren't.
Shame.
Shame! We aren't allowed to resist or support the resistance by name or criticize Israel, which in the words of the International Court of Justice is a racist apartheid state whose occupation of Palestine is illegal. But it doesn't matter what the Western world will allow. The nice thing about resistance is getting to tell your oppressor that you don't recognize their authority the same way they don't recognize yours. For this reason, I have to say, I wouldn't trade this year. I realize entire universes of people have been wiped off the face of the earth. Their loved ones forced to mourn them while also mourning their homes, limbs, and freedom. It's been a year of constant brutality, hypocrisy, and indifference on an incomprehensible scale. Yet I would not trade this year. I would not want to return to the world of October 6th, a world with the same boots on the same necks, except no one was talking about it. No, I love this year that has broken my heart, this year of resistance and solidarity and love. I love the resilience of the oppressed and the persistence of the voices who will keep demanding justice until Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, Sudan, all of the colonized countries, and the entire human race is at long last free of the rapidly crumbling Zionist world order. Can you feel it?
Yes! Yes!
Because they can. After all this time, God willing, we are going to win.
Yes. Yes.